Hello and good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing out there today? Hopefully, you are all doing well and that you are safe and that your families are safe. Um, that you've had a very productive day. I hope you've been productive, that y'all ain't out here been pretending like y'all were working. If you are virtual or anything like that, you got to make sure you make it every day count. Welcome to the Miss Council Show. Showing up live again here tonight with you for another topic. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll get this thing kicked off shortly. Hey girl, hey, thanks for joining. Is that one of my classmates? This looks like one of my classmates in the bubble. Say hello so I can know who you are. So I can say hello. Hey big brother, thanks for joining. Y'all know I see these little bubbles here, and I think I know who it is. Some people I do. But thank you so much for joining me here once again. I am Miss Council, and y'all saw this topic. We have to get into another one again this week. And last week, or actually earlier this week, we talked about I'm still mad at my ex. I did. We talked about that. I'm still mad at my ex. And a lot of people, I know they still mad at their ex. Hey, Kira, that is my classmate. Hey, Kira, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Good to see you. But, hey, I told y'all, I talked to you about my past and everything. And I talked about how, we got to get past some things in order to be able to move forward. Back in the day before I got my life together, I used to be able to go with the best of them. Remember, I told y'all I was the great debater. And, sometimes you feel like you got to cuss somebody out and flip the table over to get your point across. But, really all of that ain't even necessary. But, carrying that burden of the remembrance of whatever made you angry from back in the day, that's not going to move you forward in your life. So if you like to know how to get unmad with your ex, y'all check it out. Check out that video from the other day called I'm Still Mad at My Ex. Well, thank you again for joining me. Hi, sis. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Everybody, thanks for joining. Say hello so I can know it's you and I can say hello to you as well. But y'all know I'm Miss Council and I am a life and relationship coach, and I help women who are divorced and remarried get their lives back after divorce and have more successful second marriages. Well, before I forget, let me also invite you to join my Facebook support group called Divorced Like Us. That's divorced with a D, like us. And there are two little questions to admit you, but this group, fellas, sorry, this group is only for the lovely ladies who are divorced. So whether you're divorced or remarried, doesn't matter. The only criteria is that you have been divorced. So if you will go out and check out that book on that group on Facebook, and you get admitted in, and we're working together, we're supporting each other. Also, please check out my website so that you can learn how to work with me, MissCouncilKnows.com. It is in the caption. You can click on the link and learn how to work with me. So tonight's topic, let's get on into it. Let's get right on into it. The reason why you are not ready for your next husband. Now, I know when I post these topics, y'all be thinking like, what in the world is she talking about? And y'all know what I'm hot. Y'all know sometimes these topics, they hot. So I'm hot over here. But I know you were thinking a lot of different things when you saw this, but I'm going to tell you why. I said it. I want to tell you the reason why you're not ready for your next husband. Y'all know that perspective is pretty much everything. And what it means is it's a particular attitude toward or a way of regarding something, a point of view. And as always, I'm sharing my thoughts, my views, or my perspective. And I said what I said. I'm telling you the reason why you are not ready for your next husband. So there's no need in trying to argue with me. I love it when people interact with me in a positive manner. So please interact with me and post your comments here. I'll read your comments live and everything. So don't hesitate to say hello. Give me some amens. Hey, high five, whatever you feel down in your spirit. But interact. I'd like to see your comments. I'd like to see your questions. But just know that this message, the reason you are not ready for your next husband, this message is for somebody out here in this audience. Let me talk to you. Somebody who's about to make a huge mistake in committing to a long-term relationship or marriage. She ain't ready. She ain't ready. Hey, John. Thanks for joining. Listen, I love love, and I want to see people happy by their definition. Happiness is what you make it. And you always hear me that happiness comes from within you. It doesn't come to you. So if you go over here dropping the burden of your everyday smile and your happiness on another, that's way too much to expect from somebody else. Instead, you should determine what your happiness looks like, and that should not hinge on another's actions or their presence in your life. Rosa already getting y'all started off. She said, we had this discussion and I definitely know why I ain't ready for my first husband. Virtual high five, girl. Hey, listen, y'all, I'm talking to people all the time, and and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth straight up. No chaser, out of love. I'm going to tell you what it is. So, if you talk to me, you'll find that out if you can't already tell from these videos. And I'm going to keep it regular. I don't believe in keeping it 100. I'm keeping it regular. Often in life, we are following a direction that we feel like is right for us at that time, right? However, when it comes to marriages, you got to remember that this is a long-term commitment. What if divorce was not an option? You should really be entering it into this relationship, this marriage, as divorce ain't an option. Don't even let me think about it. We're not even putting that on the table. But you got to look a little further than just Christmas. I mean, a couple months away when you're determining whether or not to enter into that type of agreement. Because that's what marriage is. It's a contract, and it's an agreement, which is on paper. It's literally on a piece of paper. You get a marriage license. You go in front of the justice of the peace, the pastor, whoever it is, that the officiant to join you in holy matrimony. You're going to state the vows of how you do this and how you do that. There are some basic vows and traditional vows that people take. But then, you also have those that, people like to write their own vows. I think it's always nice when people write their own vows because, that's in their words what they're agreeing to. But y'all, this ain't a 1-year lease on an apartment. You know how you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to try it out for a year and see if I like it. So you got to look a little bit deeper into the person and into the relationship and think about what it is that you want out of that relationship and your thoughts on life and in the future and what it's going to be like with them. I did a video a while back. It was called Check Yourself. So y'all go check that one out. But in that video, I talked about expectations that we have for other people or that list, that we all have. It's in our minds. It might not be written down, but we have that list of what it is that we want to make. Yet we ourselves don't measure up to the expectations that we have for other people. Are you really the catch that you think that you are? And if that person only meets 5 out of the 10 things that are on your list, why are you even exploring a relationship with them? 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, whatever it is, you made the list. That must be important to you. You got these wants. It must be important to you. I always have these analogies. So here we go with my analogy for the week. Now, that during any sale, especially a good old Black Friday sale, you have in your mind how much something should cost, how much you want to pay for that big ticket item, right? They already putting it out here. They're trying to start Black Friday early. But when we open those sales papers and we get wind of the discounts that are out there, we start doing, I don't know about you, but I started doing research on the product. I need to know what's the regular price and, try to determine if it's worth me going through the battle. Because that is a battle that you that's about to ensue. You got to bundle up for that chilly forecast that it always seems to be at a Black Friday sale. It's always cold the day after Thanksgiving. You getting up, you go, belly still full, laughing and hanging out with your family and go and get on a line. I've gone through this a lot, obviously, because I could walk you through it A through Z. But I've done this a few times, and I thought it was worth my time. I find something in the sale papers, and I go out there and brave the cold and the fury just for a coat or boots that were on sale, and hoping that when I get there, that it's in my size. You know, everybody got that size. When your foot a certain size, women, you know, you ain't gonna find nothing in that size, that average foot size. But or you know, if you have children or those nieces or nephews, because I remember my oldest nephew going out to fight over this movie back in the day, A Bug's Life. I think Pixar or something like that, A Bug's Life, and he wanted this big old ant, not life size ant, but it was an ant, and I was in the toy store about to have to fight because this was other lady and I saw the toy at the same time. It was like we both looked at each other, and I was like, "You already know what it is." It was nothing that you already know what it is, and I grabbed that thing and I kept on moving. You know, or it's a situation where I remember my daughter wanted these headphones a few years back, those popular headphones. We're not going to give them any recognition. But once I got there in line, waited outside, got inside of the store only to get a ticket. Oh, they pointed me to the pharmacy area and there was a line all roped off. It was a popular item that year and they gave me a ticket and I had to wait in another line only to get there to the front and they told me they had sold out. Well, they probably had but like 10 or 20 to start with. But they said they had another more expensive version that I could buy. I said, y'all tripping. I don't know about you. But once I have something in my mind, that's what I want, and I'm not settling on it. You know, my daughter at the time, she wouldn't care about, oh, it's something that's bigger and it's better and it's, you know, it has these features. You know how kids are. She probably was about maybe 10 years old then. She didn't care nothing about, you know, what was bigger or better, like, you know, the latest phone. It's the one that she wanted. It was some headphones. It was what she wanted. And me trying to buy something, oh, this is better. These can be used in the studio. She didn't care about that. She just wanted a certain color and she wanted it to be the item. I wasn't willing to settle for those reasons. But in relationships, I have settled. I might be the only one. Y'all give me a thumbs up if you ever settled in a relationship because I know I can't be the only one out here. You know, even when I've done the research, asked questions of the person, I realized that what I expected after waiting was not available. You know, that old bait and switch is what occurred, just like what happened with those headphones. They tried to get us in there and say, oh, the headphones are going to be cheaper and all this and the other is guaranteed. But it was the bait and switch. I mean, I know I'm not the only one who's ever had the wool pulled over her eyes when it comes down to people in relationships. You know, sometimes people and their representatives want so badly to be who you think they are so they can get what it is that they want, which is your attention, your love, or your affection, whatever it is that they're expecting. But, you know, nobody can keep up that charade forever. I've probably told y'all before about my non-negotiables. Well, so one of my non-negotiables is smoking. I feel like I've talked about this in the past video, but no offense to anybody who smokes or likes to smoke cigarettes or whatever your smoke of choice is. But I'm allergic. I'm going to be honest with you. I got papers. I'm allergic. I can't be around it. It burns my nostrils. I start sneezing. I mean, this is true. This is real talk, y'all. But I met this guy some years ago. He was real nice and everything. Seemed like he was put together. But he was a smoker. And when I realized that, because I smelled the smoke on him, I asked him, you know. And he was like, oh, that ain't a big deal. I can stop. I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. Nah, I know I'm cute, but I ain't all that cute where you gonna flip your whole habit aside all of a sudden. You know, I mean, I hear quitting is difficult and it takes some time. You know, it's a huge commitment, but it takes a toll on you. So I told him, look, don't try to change for me. You got to be who you are. And he's like, oh, no, I can do it. Red flag. But he did everything he could to, like, hide it. Like, he would shower, wear fresh clothes, clean out his nostrils, but still, he was still a smoker. And I just couldn't adjust. I couldn't get with it, y'all. But things went left with that whole little acquaintance for other reasons. And I'll tell you about that later in a separate video. But just in case you're wondering, no, he did not stop smoking in that short period of time. But what I had done wrong in this situation was I tried to negotiate with myself my own non-negotiables. And that's a no-no, y'all. Y'all, even though I thought I was not ready for my next husband. You know, my dating chronicles, Miss Counsel's dating chronicles, will be discussed in my upcoming book, and I've teased it a few times in the past, dating after divorce, where I'm going to talk all about my my funny situations and the not so funny situations, where I'm going to have to just put it out there. Hey, I made a lot of missteps, but I've learned a lot of lessons, and so I'm able to share those lessons with you about life and relationships. But for now, just know that I clearly bumped my head trying to accept the unacceptable, what was unacceptable to me. But again, talking about that video, you got to check yourself. Sometimes you got to check yourself. But wait, before I go there, Kira says fake people. Yeah, you got all these representatives out here. They fake. They fake. And when you could realize that that's what you're dealing with, the fakers, those posters, those imposters, that's good. Hey, Tanya, thanks for joining. So you got to really put yourself in check. There's a whole lot of questions you got to ask yourself when you're considering that. When I say you're not ready for a husband yet. So remember, that's what we're talking about here in this video. But you've got to check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. But you got to make sure that you've got something to offer. Don't be expecting a retirement plan and a pension when you jumping from job to job every other month and you thought a 401k was a Levi's line of jeans. I mean, what are you bringing to the table? Ask yourself, what are you bringing to the table that's going to match up with that person that you're desiring for your life? I mean, do you want kids? Especially if you want a mate who has no kids. Because I know some people out here who have children and doesn't want to be with a person who has children. I mean, are you planning on having some kids in the future? Why is it that you get to have kids and they can't? I mean, I'm just asking for myself. But ask yourself those questions. Check yourself to make sure that you aren't attracting something other than what it is that you really desire. I mean, I was definitely doing this in the past. And once I realized the type of man that I was attracting, y'all, it took some work to get there. But there was a type. I had a type. And I realized I had to change some things about me. I ain't saying that was wrong with me, but I said I had to change some things about me for good, bad, or indifferent. Because you got to make sure that you are what you're putting out there into the universe. What version of you you're putting out there. So while we trying to, smile like new money and like everything is all good, we're not really being true to who we are or being true to ourselves. And so that's what we have to do, is be true to ourselves as an individual. Because if you're not putting the true you out there, you're going to be attracting something that is not what you're really looking for. Because that representative that you're putting out there for people to meet, to encounter, she's not who you really are. So they're attracted to whoever they think she is, and whoever she is ain't you. So they're not going to be what it is that you want. Think about that. It was also me. It was me. I used to be so charitable and willing to help a brother out, help him get where he wanted to be. I was writing resumes and everything, y'all. Prepping people for interviews. I mean, I'm a helpful person. The only issue was I was meeting people who were not really putting in the effort, and they really didn't have plans to get anywhere. But they said, oh, I'm ambitious. I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. But when you start asking them about their plans, they can't tell you nothing. And, oh, when you going to be doing this? And there's never a drop dead date. You never see any work being put in. I'm just saying. I mean, literally the people I met, they were complacent and over here slow clapping at my accomplishments. I'm ambitious. I've always been ambitious. And, I realized that my mate should be somebody who is a go-getter as well. Somebody who matches my hustle and is going to support it. That's important. That's what's important to me. There are a lot of people out here who are available. And they can meet you somewhere, talk to you on the phone, but they're not really emotionally available. There's a difference, because for many reasons, it could be because they're either in a relationship or they're carrying baggage from a relationship. Are you that one who's emotionally unavailable? Could that be you? Would there be one? I'm talking about the one who's single, but just emotionally not available, not there yet. And if so, you're not ready for your next husband. You want to know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Hey, baby brother, I see you're on. I'm about to list out the reasons. Get your paper ready. If your ex still popping up at your house, you don't have any boundaries. I mean, even if you share children, there has to be a level of communication and a mutual respect. One more time, communication and respect for each other's space. We talking about your ex popping up at your house unannounced. Why does he do that? Because you allow it. Are you still arguing with that person, with your ex? I mean, can he cause you to burst into tears or anger you to the point where you just can't function? You getting migraines and often need a moment after that interaction? Are you still communicating with exes disguised as friends? I don't think I need to give any explanation on that one. Do you have a maintenance man? Ladies, y'all know what a maintenance man is. Who handles what you need handled? Perhaps the other man in your life is your brother or your dad or that uncle that just does everything for you and still treats you like a princess or pays your bills or, is that person on the other end of the phone, whatever it is. You ain't ready for your next husband. No man is going to go want all of that attention going to another man. I don't care who he is. I don't care who he is. Or he's not going to want his woman to be indebted to another man or appearing to need anything from them other than from their man. I was going to say, men, we got some men on with us. Let me see what you got to say. Add to it. I say, so, Terry said, some people may not know how to be in a relationship. They don't. That's right. That's why they ain't ready for a husband. Rosa said, put your foot in it, says, hey, listen, that's what we said earlier. I'm going to tell it like it is, like a TI is, like the old folks used to say. Keith says, still occupying space in your mind, rent free. That's what them exes doing, occupying space in your mind. Let me add a little disclaimer to what I said before. When I said, no man is going to want you to have the attention of another man or have you indebted to another man or, you calling up somebody, no matter who it is. I said a man. I said what I said. A man is not going to want that. If, people allow what they allow. But, I mean, the guys out here, they know what I'm saying. Ladies, you should too. If you don't, ask me about it. Y'all know I'm a believer. So take what I'm about to say for what it is. Some of the women who are single and they're divorced, they waiting on God to send them their next husband. Faith without works is dead. I'm going to be honest with you. We don't get where we are in our lives without prayer and action. You're going to have to do something, ladies. And first thing you're going to have to do is get past any hurt, anger, and guilt that you're holding on to from the past relationship. Like he said, occupying space rent free. You got to find your happiness again. I say again because you thought you was happy before in that relationship and you realized you wasn't. And whatever it was, this is where you are right now. But you got to find that happiness again. And you got to figure out what changes you need to make to that recipe. Remember I talked about that recipe that you tried the first time? You followed it to a T and it didn't really work out. It didn't taste right. But you're brave enough to try it again. Hey, y'all. Hey, I am back. There are storms in the area. So I should have said that a little bit earlier. Seems like the wind is picking up. So it kicked me off. I lost my connection. I do apologize because we were in it, y'all. We were in it. We were talking about it. So I'm gonna give everybody a second to join back in with me and pick back up where we left off. But I was talking about being a believer, and I was talking about how faith without works is dead, and you really have to get past the hurt, the anger, and the guilt you're holding on to from your past relationships and be able to work through those things. You have to find the happiness. You have to find out what happiness looks like for you. Again, you have to get a do-over. and figure out what changes you need to make. I was talking about that recipe and how your first marriage didn't work out, and you have to try that recipe again. So you have to try that recipe for a second time and um, add some more ingredients. Learn some lessons from the last time. Oh, I took it out of the oven too soon. Thanks for joining me again. I got kicked off my I lost my connection for just a moment. So thanks y'all for rejoining. But you have to try that recipe again, and you have to add some more ingredients. They put paprika on everything. It don't taste like anything, but put some other seasonings in it, and stir it a little bit longer, or take it off the heat a little bit earlier. Turn it down. Don't cook it so fast. But that's what you realize from your first marriage, that you did some things that you need to do different the second time. So maybe the recipe or maybe the second marriage will work out a little bit differently. But you really have to do a self-reflection and find out, what areas do you need to improve on? Did you put too much salt in there the first time? But what areas do you need to improve? And if you don't think that anything was wrong with you, if it was all his fault, you might need to go back and check yourself because it's never 100% somebody else's fault. You've got to improve, because if you don't, you're going to remain stagnant, and then lightning's going to strike the same place twice. You're going to get the same result if you're not changing anything. You have to identify your type. Y'all, everybody has a type. Who is it that you are attracting? Identifying those is really going to be what helps you figure out who you choose and why you choose them. Then you can fix that if it needs fixing, and learn how to attract Mr. Right for you instead of Mr. Right now. Figure out what your type is. I have a process, but maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a future video. But you just want to be wifey, right? You just want to be wifey. I mean, it's so cute when they be like, "Oh, wifey." They got little shirts with sayings on it, wifey, and people be like, "Oh, that's so cute." I mean, who needs or cares about appearances and the lies? I mean, the lives that people lead on social media. Who cares about that stuff? I mean, as soon as the picture is snapped and the photo session has ended, they over here, these happy people, they don't wipe the smile off their faces, and they're moving about the cabin like, nothing just happened. You can't force happiness or duplicate what you see in other relationships, because you're not in that relationship, and it's always some element that's going on that the outside looking in doesn't see, and how it's working. It's almost like looking up under the hood of the car. You think you're seeing something, you're seeing some major things under the hood of the car, but are you really seeing the whole process of how it's working? But it may seem effortless because all we gotta do is press the gas or hit the brake and the car goes. But that's not how relationships work. There's a lot under the hood that we cannot see. But you always hear me say that marriage takes effort. I don't use the word work because that sounds like it's tedious, and it don't sound cute, but it requires effort. You have to put in effort. And people have to be willing to work together. I say a marriage is a 100-100, but divorce is what's 50-50. So if you're trying to put in 50, you put in 50 and he put in 50, y'all rolling on two tires. Y'all roll on, you're not going to get anywhere. But remember this. Terry says, so true, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You have no idea. None of us do. Even people in the house with you, they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And how you make that thing work. So I want you to remember something, that to whom much is given, much is required. When you have expectations for other people, just know they're going to want something from you as well. But know this, your actions must match your energy. Your actions must match your energy. What are you emitting? Are you acting like wifey material? I just had to be quiet on that one for a second. Are you? These questions to ask yourself. I'm asking, but you can add, I'm asking, are you acting like wifey material? If you want to be wifey one day, are you acting that way? Are you moving that way? What are you putting out there in the atmosphere? You know the reason why you're not ready for your next husband? That's something that you have to determine. What's in your way? What do you need to address from the past? Do you really want to get married? Because you might not. It might be just what society has put in your mind that that's what perfect is, and that's what life is, and that's the circle of life, and that's what's supposed to happen. Terry Richardson, we got two Terrys on with us. She says marriage is heart work, and Terry Lewis says marriage is teamwork. Those are two good ones: heart work and teamwork. But you got to ask yourself: is that a commitment that you really want to make? Reevaluate. What is it? What is it that you want? So here are my tips. I can't leave y'all without some tips. Identifying what in your past needs resolution. Go work that thing out, whatever that thing is. Your personal issues, your past relationships. You got to be able to move forward, and the past is not going to help you. It's like an old abandoned car that's sitting on bricks in your driveway. Oh, it's got a good motor in it, but don't nothing else in it work. Can you get in it and go anywhere? No. So that's what the past is like. It's something that's sitting there, occupying space. Those thoughts and feelings are occupying space in your mind, but you can't move forward. You can't get in and go nowhere. It's the past. Really ask yourself if you want to get married. Or is it what society is impressing upon you? Just like some women decide they don't want to have children. That's up to them. There are really people out there who are happy with themselves, and they decided in their situation and in their singleness, they don't want to get married. And that's good for them. They realize that, and they're good with it. So they're not shedding any tears, and so don't you shed any tears for them either. But ask yourself about marriage. Do you want to get married? Are you really ready to commit to one person that you're going to be looking in their face for the rest of their life? You're going to smell their breath when you get up in the morning. They snoring at night. They clipping their toenails in the bathroom. I'm just saying. What if divorce was never an option? If this was a commitment that you had to make, look at it that way. Marriage is a commitment that you make, and divorce is not an option. And this person is the person that I really want to be with for the rest of my life and make decisions. Hey, the one, when it comes down to it, to make decisions about your life. Because we all got to go sometime. Bottom line, work on yourself. And when the work is done, then you'll be ready. Thank y'all so much for joining me once again. Thank you for rejoining me once we had our little disconnection. Y'all know I'm Miss Counsel, and Miss Counsel knows a little bit about everything. I ain't telling you what I heard, but I'm telling you what I know. Please make sure you check out my Facebook group, Divorced Like Us, and that you also check out my website, MissCounselKnows.com, where you can learn how to work with me. Just click on the link. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed and have a great night.